Hi guys, this is Corey and we're starting the seminar, Better Balance, More Movement, and True Strength, and the Core Stability Blueprint. So thanks for joining us today. This is going to be so much fun. I consider this to be one of my favorite seminars to do because it's eye-opening, man. It's just really powerful when people are like, oh my gosh, that's what improves my balance? Wow, that helps me move better? Oh my gosh, I finally see what I need to do. So when you have those types of moments in seminars, it makes you feel really good as a presenter. And guys, again, I'm Corey. I've been in the industry for the last 25 years, and this is really kind of a culmination of a lot of that effort and experience to really find things that work for you. So you got to make sure that you know this stuff. It's going to help you guys. And looking at my background, you know, regardless of my academic degrees and certifications and all that good stuff, again, it's all about the experience of working with clients to make sure that they're getting the best result they can. That's what really drives me, and it's what's really important. I take pride in the degrees and all that type of stuff, but ultimately it's interacting with our clients and making sure that they're getting just awesome results and they're feeling really good about it. So who is this workshop for? Well, this workshop, guys, is for smart people like you. Yeah, you don't have to be in special ops or an elite athlete. You don't have to be. You might be, and it would probably make sense for you to be, but you know what? You may not exercise. You may not right now feel very good about yourself. You may be overweight. Heck, you know, you may be broken. Maybe you're in pain. Whatever it is, this seminar is for you. And why do we use this stuff? Because it works. That's it. So our clients get incredible results, so we just simply like to do what works, and we can't get away from what works. It works, it's safe, it's effective. And you know, don't believe the marketing gym industry hype. Don't believe it. This is what works. Do it and you'll be fine. You won't waste any time, you won't waste your money and energy. It's like you have to do what works. Simply do it. Don't listen to the marketing. $10 a month or huge boot camps is not going to solve your issue. So make sure you're doing what works, and that's why we integrate things like this. So let's talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty methodology and research and really the driving force behind some of the information I'm going to provide today. Some of that information is really grounded in original strength philosophies and work and effort and passion from Tim Anderson. So we brought Tim up here a few years back, and just incredible stuff. We wanted to meet this guy, and it's amazing. So Tim will talk a lot about neural resets, pressing the reset button. He's got a lot of resources I'm going to show you in a second, but really making sure that you're tapping into your body's capability and what it's designed to do. So a little quote here from Tim: your body has a reset button. The fact is, you were created to move. You were also created to be strong enough to do what you need to do and want to do. So neural resets are really important to us when we work with our clients, mature professionals who want to get twice the results in half the time. So if you are interested in improving your balance and having better balance, better movement or more movement, and being truly strong, you will incorporate neural resets because it's just something that you need to do. And here are a couple of little, resources that Tim has. If you have a little time, you want to put this on the side of your bedstand, read through these. These are great things. All of those resources are outstanding. So I would encourage you to look into that. Okay, so some of the core concepts with Tim's work. There's assessment components, all the neural resets. We're going to go over a couple today. Having ultimately reflexive strength and stability, and then optimizing movement. That's what it's all about. So that's why you guys are kind of listening to this seminar. You want to tap into really the how, because you have a why, and we want to make sure that this all connects together. So let's take a look at, in fact, let's read one more quote from Tim, because I think it's pretty cool. Reflexive strength, let's define reflexive strength. Let's have Tim define it for us. Reflexive strength is the body's ability to anticipate, prepare, and respond to movement before and as it happens. Wow, really cool stuff. Sometimes our clients don't get reflexive strength or reflexive stability. So let me give you my story, or what I use when I'm talking to a client to make sure that they get it. Because sometimes you don't get it with just a quick definition. You might need a little story. So if I'm doing, everybody does this, right? You want a six-pack. Or you want to you want to fit in your clothes better, whatever you want. So so you're going to go to the gym, or you're going to go to your basement, and you're going to do like crunches, right? You're going to bang out some of these guys. And of course, if you follow any of our stuff, and any of the gurus that we follow, flexing your spine over and over is silly. It's like taking a coat hanger and just doing this to it. And it may not be painful today, it may not be painful tomorrow, but at some point there's going to be pain, at some point there's going to be delamination, at some point there's going to be potential herniation. So we don't want to do a lot of monkey stuff. We want to make sure we're doing things that are really solid, proven, and that work. So with that example, that's a sit-up, and that's really training your body like a bicep. And the neurology, you're telling your body what to do. So that's a little bit different than reflexive. So reflexive, an example of a reflexive movement might be just picking one out. Maybe I'm boxing, right? So my core is a little stable to keep me upright. And then I punch, and my core becomes maximally stable. It's like, boom, it's hard as a rock. And that is basically a reflexive movement that I didn't have to tell my core to fire, it just fired. It's reflexive, it's in there, it knows what to do, the body knows what to do with it. So that's what we're trying to train here. We're trying to train your reflexive core stability so that you are strong and capable. You are truly strong. That's true strength. So when you go to lift something, man, everything's there, it's locked in, loaded, and you will make it happen. That is your reflexive core stability and strength, and it's really super powerful. The body's ability to do something reflexively. That's what we're going to train. Whew! Cool stuff. So if you're if you're in your little circuit at your, cheap gym, you're sitting down, right? Here we go. I got my circuit. I'm sitting down. I'm told this is good to do. I got 10 of those banged out. I'm going to go to my other station here. It's got a back support too. Got 10 of those bad boys. Now I'm going to go over here and do some of these. Back support. You're not getting anything out of your routine. Stop it. Okay, I'll try to not get excited, but stop that madness. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your money. Go home. Go home. Just go home. You're wasting yourself. Or if you're there, watch people. Become a professional people watcher. Okay, I'll stop it. So getting out of the machines obviously is going to be important to using your body the way it's designed to be moved. So let's get into some of these keys here. I'll try not to go off on a tangent here, sorry. So let's keep moving here. All right, so let's get into the 3 keys that I have for the presentation. Now the 3 keys, I'm going to toggle back and forth between number 1, we're going to assess and reassess. Assess and reassess. We want to make sure that we're proving to you without a doubt that something works, right? I don't want to just hand you something and tell you it works. Let's have you feel it. So we're going to assess and reassess. We're going to look at number 2. We're going to correct. We're going to bring in some neural resets to correct. And then we're going to finish with a quick little personalization, emphasis, and progression and performance. So we're going to kind of tie all those in. We'll finish the last thing we do on there with number 3 is we're going to unveil the core stability blueprint. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 2 exercises. We're going to use them as an assessment. So the first one is a single leg stance. So go ahead and stand up. Join me here, even though you might be at home, you might be in the office, wherever. I'd recommend you take off your shoes, definitely, and just give us a single leg stance. So comfortable stance, bring one leg off the ground, bring the knee and the hip to about 90 degrees, and just hold that there. You might hold it for 10 or 15 seconds. Just try to feel what's happening with your body in terms of how difficult it is, how easy it is, what your foot is doing. Just kind of get an assessment of that. Try the other side. Same thing, hip and knee 90 degrees. Just hold it there. Okay. Take inventory. That's our first assessment. We'll come back and do that again. The next one is the squat. So I want you to take a squat stance, something comfortable for you, probably a little bit wider than your shoulders. Toes pointed slightly out. Keep your chest proud. You can do this in one of two ways. You can either grab a pretend broom handle and keep it above your head, or if you're not quite stable, just keep your arms out in front of you for a counterbalance. So whichever one you decide to do, just keep it consistent through the assessment and go ahead and give us the deepest squat you can, comfortably. Good. You could also throw in a little load with that, just assess. The key is you want to do the same thing initially and throughout the reassessment. So those are your two assessments. Again, take inventory of how you felt, and let's move right into the second key, which is correcting. So when you're talking about balance, because we kind of put these in a hierarchy, that if we're helping someone shape and tone, the first thing we've got to do, we absolutely have to do this, is that we have to improve their balance. They have to have their balance. The way that they're going to have their balance is they're going to have their reflexive core stability and strength. Then we're going to improve their movement. So we want to enhance their balance, we want to improve their movement, and then we can start getting them strong. And then we can transition that into power. And when you go through all four of those in that order, you can then improve their shape and tone and their performance. So for those of you who are looking for shaping and toning, you want to look better, you want to feel better and perform your best, you've got to make sure that you have those four things in order. Your balance, movement, strength, and power in that order. You can't start with power. You'll break yourself. You can't start with strength. You won't be truly strong. You can't start with movement because you won't move as well unless you have your balance and reflexive core stability. So that's a little lesson in programming. It's a little lesson in personalization, but those are critical. So we've just done that initial assessment. You've done your single leg stance and you've done your squat. Now let's employ a little corrective. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to breathe. Yep, that's it. You're going to breathe. So go ahead and find a comfortable space on the ground. And all I want you to do is get into a corpse pose and just breathe. I want you to feel relaxed, feel heavy. I want you to inhale and exhale through the nose. Keep the tongue on the top of the roof of your mouth. Pull the air into your pelvic floor. Roughly a 3-second inhale and a 5-second exhale. And just try to let that tension leave your body. And let's spend a minute or two here, just relaxing, comfortable breath. Good, and if it's been a minute or two, I want you to go ahead and roll. So your spine healthy in terms of getting up. You're going to go to a tabletop, single leg, half kneeling stance, lunge stance, and stand. Then you're going to do those reassessments. So those reassessments are the same exact thing that we started with. You're going to go to that single leg stance on your left. 10 or 15 seconds. Go to your right, 10 or 15 seconds. Now let's do the squat. Put your hands where you had them, comfortable stance for you. And assess how you feel after you put the corrective into place. So let's talk about the single leg stance. Did the single leg stance feel better, worse, or indifferent for you? Everyone's a little bit different. If you felt like that was, an improvement, that's great. If you didn't, that's okay too. When you look at the squat, did your squat feel better? Did it feel worse? Was it indifferent? So this is subjective, but you should be able to sense one of those. Either you felt better, you felt worse, or it was indifferent. And with this particular assessment and reassessment, let's not analyze it quite yet. Just try to get an idea of if you felt better or not with the breath. Once we do one more corrective, then we're going to come back and we're going to kind of loop back around and we'll talk about what we typically find and what might be logical. So that's your first little piece of this. It's key number 1, which is the assessment. Key number 2, which is to provide the corrective. Then we come back and reassess. Now, let's go ahead and go into another corrective. So this next corrective is going to include a little bit of the neural reset component, and the exercise is a rolling pattern. So there's a lot of different types of rolls you can do. Let's just keep it simple. Let's keep it on one. We'll go back and forth a few times, and we'll see on a reassessment what changes take place. So same thing. Let's go to the ground. Let's go to your back. Let's extend your arms and legs. Bring one arm to the ceiling. I'll actually switch so you can see me. I'll bring my left arm up. My head is going to come off the ground. My arm is across my body. I'm relaxed from my hips down low, and I'm using my core super slow and controlled. And I'm going to keep rolling. Opposite arm up. Eyeballs are driving the movement. And this is upper body segmental rolling. I'll come back. Keep the movement slow. Try not to use your legs and your glutes. Breathe through the movement. Try not to hold your breath. And be patient with the roll. You should feel your core engage. Maybe do 2 or 3 rolls in each direction. I'll come back and finish where I started. A lot of different rolls, and we'll maybe go over some of those. But do, like I said, 2 or 3 rolls. Go ahead and get up. And grab my handy dandy clicker here. All right, so we've just done the rolling patterns. Now let's go back to that reassessment. So let's go ahead and go to the single leg stance again. Let's go to that first side that you did. Hold that for 10 or 15 seconds. Switch sides, 10 or 15 seconds. Good. Next up, let's try that squat. So comfortable squat stance. Grab onto the broom handle or arms out in front of you, whatever you're more comfortable with. Give us the deepest squat you can. All right, and then take inventory of how you felt. And let's kind of look at these. Well, first of all, ask yourself, did my single leg stance feel better, indifferent, or worse after I did the rolling patterns? And ask yourself, did my squat feel better, indifferent, or worse after the rolling patterns? So when we loop back around and we look at those two, you know, everyone's a little bit different, but based on the seminars that I lead, we're typically finding a majority of people being impacted by both, in both exercises. We actually find that the upper body segmental rolling, if you're just doing that, improves both very well. The breath tends to really improve the squat, but it will improve the single leg stance as well, but it's not as apparent within the seminars that I do. But it does impact it to a greater degree, but it just the rolling patterns really seem to really ground people in. And that's a big part of balance, guys, is making sure that your reflexive core stability helps you. Your balance may not improve by standing on something that's uneven. That might just be simply adding more danger to your exercise routine. So, but when you do things like this, the rolling patterns, the reflexive strength and stability, you're doing things that the body knows how to do that's in there, and your body starts to just move better. So you're more balanced, you're moving better, and those are two really great assessments, and those are a couple really great tools in the neural reset category that make a huge difference. And so we tend to start pretty much, most of the people that we work with, they absolutely need neural resets. They need to go back to what their body was designed to do. Before we start getting them stronger, before we start improving their power and helping them shape and tone, we really have to get their body functioning, quite frankly, functioning the way that it should, because most people don't know how to do that. So that's a really cool thing, really neat to bring to the table. The last little key here is just a little bit of a finishing touches, but it's really personalizing that your program and the exercises and progressing through those exercises, and then ultimately performing. So you really need to stabilize the spine. You want to emphasize endurance, planes, contralateral movement, and unilateral loading and spiral lines. So there's a lot there. Let's kind of dig into it one at a time, because this could really help you in terms of what it is that you're doing to stay safe and strong, and really move your best, perform your best, whether it's running or just chasing your kids around. So when we look at this, I'm calling it the core stability blueprint. These are things that if you follow these concepts, the blueprint, you're going to have a wickedly stable core. You're going to be faster. You're going to be able to perform better. You'll be more injury resilient. So it's really good stuff that you want to dig into, because taking advantage of where exercise science has evolved is something that we can do now. So the core stability blueprint, let's look at this sucker. So endurance. We know through all of Dr. Stuart McGill's research that the core loves endurance. It really thrives it's an endurance animal. We want to enhance the endurance. We don't need to treat it like a bicep. We're not necessarily emphasizing heavy load and flexion and extension. We're trying to increase the endurance, the body's ability to stay stable over a longer duration. So the concept there is, holding stability for 10 seconds and then 20 seconds and 30 seconds and 40 seconds. So endurance is really key to that. Could, be a variety of different exercises, whether it's planking or farmer carries or other stability exercises. The endurance is really important. When you look at planes are really cool because most things happen, coming at us in this, what would be called a sagittal plane. And our body is very comfortable with that, but hitting it from other planes can really make the body, adapt to different stresses. So frontal plane exercises like side planking and Pallof pressing and other exercises that kind of come at the body from a different angle really improve the stability of the core and should be included in anyone's routine. With contralateral movement, that is our body's ability to move the way it's designed. So contralateral would be opposite arm, opposite leg. So just like we walk, or just like we run, or we skip, it's contralateral. If we crawl, there's contralateral movement. So our body is really designed to operate like that. We don't have to think about it, it just happens. So when you're doing things that your body is designed to do, everything really lights up. So if we're marching, that's going to light up my core, and I'm not going to have to think about it, so it's very reflexive. So we want to emphasize contralateral movement whenever we can. Maybe you're doing a step up, maybe you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing, getting the whole body to move in that manner is really, really pretty cool. And then, maybe you're changing up the planes, right? Maybe we're doing, more of a lateral, right? Hurdle step, just in different planes, different motions, but contralateral movement's helpful. And lastly, unilateral loading and spiral lines. So unilateral loading, having, instead of, let's say, a farmer carry, now you've got like a suitcase carry, or you've got a rack carry, or you're doing single arm work, you're doing, half kneeling stances with one bell. You're just mixing that up, and you're doing unilateral loading, and it emphasizes spiral line work. So it emphasizes, stabilizing your core beyond just training it like a bicep and all in one plane. So the spiral lines is all the stuff we learned from Thomas Myers and the anatomy trains, that everything's really, there's all these different fascial lines that keep us stable. So emphasizing exercises that really help that and improve the stability really makes your body injury resilient. It makes you just a beast. You'll perform at like an animal. It's awesome. So you'll run faster, you'll cycle better, you'll do all the things in life that you do. And there are a bunch of different exercises, like I said, from a unilateral loading standpoint, that emphasize the spiral lines. And so that's really your core stability blueprint. Without it getting specific into programming, those are just some things that if you followed those, if you had that blueprint and had some of those things in your program, you are going to have way more balance. You're going to move a lot better, and you're going to be truly strong. I mean, truly strong. To me, true strength has nothing to do with how much you can arm curl, how much you can bench press. That's I'm not sure what that is, but someone who's truly strong is going to be strong in their core, and it's going to integrate in their hips, and they're going to be explosive, and they're going to be able to, move well and perform really well. So that type of person is truly strong. Someone who can crawl for 10 minutes, someone who, moves really well. Those people are incredibly strong. True strength. Okay, so looking at a couple lists of different exercises, when you're really talking core-based stuff, all the rolling patterns, again, there are a lot of different rolling patterns, not an exercise video, but a lot of different rolling patterns you can implement. Planks of all sorts, side planks, kettlebell carries, bird dogs, Pallof presses, stir the pots, crawls, all sorts of crawls, body saw bridge. I mean, just a ton of great core-based exercises right there in that list. When you start moving into, let's just say, performance, we get into, swings and Turkish get-ups and snatches and lateral squats, which would be a spiral line exercise with the band coming from the side. That's a super exercise that really emphasizes the spiral lines all the way around. Rotational squat, push-ups, lunges and step-ups, sleds, ropes, and life. So all of those things take advantage of your core and how it helps you, live the best life you can, perform at the highest levels. And that's pretty much, guys, the seminar that I had planned for you. Just make sure that you check out different resources, like the best exercise you're not doing, which is crawling, by the way. Crawling, make sure you guys are crawling. As well as, if you need to tap into the details of programming, check out live streaming. It's always available to you from anywhere around the world. And of course, I'll leave you with this. If you could do it alone, you would have done it already. But this is Corey from Plaza Fitness Performance. Join us in some of our other seminars. And I'm reminding you guys to stay smart, stay sharp, and stay strong.